Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rola, as you all know, and I'm the host on this channel. Today, I'll be enlightening you guys about this recent OONI of IFE coming to Brazil to, inaugurate the Yoruba culture or to, name a particular state or a place in or a community here in Brazil with Yoruba ancestral heritage and all those other stuff. So I'll be giving you guys brief history. I'm not going to go deep inside because I'd like for you to also go and make your own inquiries or read about it more when you have free time, especially if you're Yoruba. Okay, so if you are new to my channel and I'm new to you, welcome to Urala's Diary. All I talk about on this channel is how to relocate to Brazil, Brazilian history and culture. You seeing Brazil through my eyes, Brazilian birth tourism, Brazil education, Brazil economy, Brazil love life, everything sweet and sour about Brazil. You'll find it here on my page. If you've been looking for a page that does all this, you are on the right spot. Welcome to my channel. Anyways, guys, so I'm going to be taking this topic one by one. I wanted to expand it, and I wanted to just dive into it and just speak to you guys about Oni of Ife coming to Brazil. But then I realized that my viewers are from all over the world, so I can't just assume that they already know a brief history about what happened on Monday with Oni of Ife at QUILOMBOLA, partaking in some ritual and spiritual Yoruba cultural heritage preservation. So, guys, let's get right into this video. Welcome back. So I already have some jottings here on my book, and I'm going to just try to explain in brief what the entire ceremony was about. So I'm going to first be talking to you guys about Quilombola. Number two, Salvador and Bahia. Number three, slave trade. Number four, and Oni of Ife himself. So let's start with Quilombola. What's a Quilombola? I'll be giving you its definition, its location, and its first aid. Okay, Quilombola is an Afro-Brazilian resident in Quilombo settlement, first established by enslaved slaves of Brazil. They are the descendants of Afro-Brazilian slaves who were able to escape from slave plantation that existed in Brazil until its abolition in 1888. The most famous Quilombola, someone that was from this community, is called Zumbi. Who is Zumbi? It was a Quilombola leader. Why? Because it was the pioneer of resistance to slavery of Africans by the Portuguese in colonial Brazil. It was also one of the last kings of the Quilombo, a settlement of these Afro-Brazilian people who had liberated themselves from enslavement. In the present day, you will find this state in Alagoas of Brazil. Zumbi is referenced today as the Afro-Brazilian culture as a powerful symbol of resistance against the enslavement of Africans in colonial Brazil time. This man was the first person to fight against, he was the first person to resist slavery. He was the first person to say, no, we're no longer doing, leave us alone. I don't know if you guys know, some of you know, but people believe that this Zumbi came from Africa, one of the enslaved Africans that were brought to Brazil. In fact, if you want to read further and know about Zumbi, some said he was from Congo and he has been sold up to almost 10 times to different parts of southern or northern, in fact, to all parts of the Americas continent until he was able to be sold here in Brazil to a colony or like a pastor. Or he was sold to the Catholic father, rather. He was sold to a Catholic father here in Brazil, where he was able to, the father changed his name from Subi to Francisco, and he was able to escape from this father into this Quilombo, where he formed a settlement that he was able to bring in other freed slaves or slaves that were able to japa, run away from their colony or their masters. So they were able to form, he was able to form that settlement that, it's like a freedom, like a place of freedom where every enslaved person from different parts of the world or from different parts of Africa were able to run to and find freedom. Salvador Bahia is like state and capital. I'm sorry, I'm lowering my voice. I'm not supposed to make noise here. So Salvador Bahia is like a state and capital. Salvador is the capital, Bahia is the state. Bahia state is located in the northeastern side of Brazil and is known for its Portuguese colonial architecture. If you go to Bahia today, you would see evidently the colonial architectures that the Portuguese people were able to, build and function that year, 1880, and all those like 18th century, 17th century, 16th century. The Afro-Brazilian culture and its tropical coastline is very prevalent in this state. People will be wondering, oh, Nigeria, Africans are so much. People always say, or they always assume that Africans are so much in Brazil. Africans are la 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 in Brazil. To an extent, I would like to say it's a big lie. It's a lie because, in fact, there was something I saw on Twitter yesterday. The person said, "Oh, Yoruba is it's a very big." I don't know how the person put it. I wish I could see it again. The person said Yoruba is a very widely spoken language here in Brazil. An average Brazilian is going to argue with you that that is not correct. You know why? Because it's not true. The language of Brazil, official one language of Brazil is Portuguese. They speak only Portuguese. But then there's a group of enslaved people. When they were thieving slaves, when they were stealing people, when they were kidnapping human beings, when the Portuguese people were enslaving Africans, this state, Salvador, is where they were taking them to that year. That was the first stop they were taking them to when the Portuguese people. I'm sure you guys know the history of Lagos, Nigeria. These people, no, Portuguese people, were the first to colonize Nigeria, or let me say Lagos, because they didn't colonize the entire Nigeria. They were the first to colonize. They were the first to get to Lagos before the England, London people, yokai, were able to come and take over from them, or maybe they fought and the UK won or something. I don't know. I don't know that history well, but I know that Portuguese were the first to get to Lagos before the England people. So that's how you see when you come to Brazil or you go to Portugal, you will see stuff like this same Lagos name. They have it in their state or in some bus stops or some areas of the country, or even on the buses. I think there's one. If you come to Rio de Janeiro, there's one place called Niterói. That place, there's a big ship, abandoned ship, that is named like on the body of the ship. There's a name called like the inscription on it is written Nigeria. Maybe when I go to Niterói, when I'm passing by, I'm going to take a picture of it. Nigeria is on the ship, abandoned ship. It's always there, so I don't know if it's abandoned or not, but it's always in standby, so obviously it's abandoned. So that aside, Salvador is the capital of Bahia. This one now is playing an important role because in this story we're about to give, because this place is the first settlement where they brought slaves, enslaved people. This was where they stopped first when they got to Brazil. That is why when you go to Salvador, you see a lot of black people that have ancestral trace to Africa or Nigeria. Especially, most of them, they do traditional worships like all these orixas, Shango, Oya, Eshu, and the rest of them like that. So you see them when you get there, you see them, they always call themselves Oshun this one, Oshun Bumi, Ifa Funke, but most of them cannot speak Yoruba. They just want to learn. They were telling you, oh, they wish they can speak it, or in their songs you be hearing stuff like Eshu, then Portuguese, oh yeah, Portuguese, Oshun, Portuguese, Olodumare, Portuguese. So all that lie that a large amount of Brazilians speak Yoruba has to be cancelled. I just wanted to bring that one to everybody's notice so everybody can wake up from their slumber. It's a lie. No. But they know some words. They were able to preserve the African culture. These enslaved people, I don't know how they were able to do it, but some of them were able to preserve this African culture. An example would be the Zumbi, the first settler of Quilombola. That's very evident in what he's doing, in what he did to first settle and to create this community for the enslaved people. Okay, so that one is a lie. They do not speak Yoruba. Just one word or two that they were able to preserve in the past. Okay, so now let's go to slave trade. In fact, we can't go to slave trade anymore because I think I've talked about slave trade and Salvador Bahia together in this section. So now let's go to Oni of Ife. Now, who is Oni of Ife? Who do we call Oni of Ife? Oba Adeyeye Enito Ogunwusi, that's his full name, or Ojaja 2 CRF. He was born on the 17th of October 1974. He is the current and the 51st Oni of Ife. He is a traditional ruler, monarch of the Yoruba culture. He ascended the throne of his forefathers or his forebearers in 2015 after he succeeded the deceased Oba Okunade Shiwaju, who was the 50th Oni of Ife. Okay, so this throne is a very sacred position in the Yoruba kingdom. It's like I think it's the top, it's the highest. I think is we have up to Nigeria. We have up to, I think for example, not very certain. I think we have up to 10 Yoruba states in Nigeria. There are 36 states altogether, but I think 10 of them or more or lesser is Yoruba. So all these other Yoruba kingdoms, they have traditional rulers, but this Oba Adeyeye, the Oni of Ife, is the highest, is king over all the other towns or states or these traditional rulers that Yoruba has. So his position is the highest in the entire Yoruba kingdom. So it's a very sacred throne, and then not just anybody's put there. You have to undergo some rituals. You have to be picked by the orishas. You have to be a chosen one before you can even ascend this throne. Okay, so now that we've put all these important figures I wanted to talk about in this video away, now we'll get right into the video properly. Okay, so the Oni of Ife was in Brazil on Monday and was welcomed by the president of Brazil, President Lula da Silva. He was welcomed in Salvador and also in Brazil. He first visited Salvador to this state, Quilombola, that I spoke to you guys about earlier. This community of people who have preserved the Yoruba culture, religion, and every other thing in between Yoruba since the colonial era right until this point. Okay, so he visited them and inaugurated and recognized, certified them to be a Yoruba territory outside of Africa, outside of Nigeria, outside of Benin Republic, outside of Togo, outside of every other places that Yoruba community or the Yoruba tradition is being evident. So he has come to stamp it that these people, you are one of us, we are one of you, we are one. Okay, those people have their own orishas, babalawos, Ifa, Oshu, and all those things that they worship them. So some people will say, hey, Yoruba, we've extended across Nigeria. We've extended, now we're in Brazil. Well, the Yorubas in Brazil are the ones that are practicing Orisha, not you that is in Nigeria that is a CAC member. I'm sorry, not you that is a Catholic member, not you that is a CSC member, not you that is an MFM. Okay, because that's what you people do not understand. This Yoruba that was inaugurated in Brazil is the Orisha worshippers Yoruba. There's no, because if you do not in your own country, if you do not appreciate the culture, other people will do it for you outside. So I know in Nigeria we call all these things, all this issue, all these orishas, we call them evil. And then Catholicism, really, Christian religion is good, and the orisha and the other one is evil. Okay, so that's how we see it in Nigeria. That's how majority of us see. In fact, people that don't see it that way, we are not up to 1%. people that are open-minded, people that are, ready to learn about it, people that are going out of their own comfort or out of their own knowledge to seek more knowledge about these things. They are not up to 1%. The rest 99% believe that this culture is demonic. So don't be happy yet. The Yorubas that they came to inaugurate here are the traditional worshippers, the orixa worshippers. Okay, so it was there in this community to make them know that they are accepted, they are seen, they are strong, they love them, and then they give them certificate of being a Yoruba territory outside of Africa. Okay, so afterwards he was invited by Lula, to President Lula, to Brasilia. That's the capital of Brazil, Brasilia. Okay, so he was invited there, and then they had a ceremony for him to thank him for coming, to give him the certificate of honor, and then to stamp that yes, this particular community, QUILOMBOLA, is now recognized as a Yoruba community outside of Africa, here in Brazil. Okay, so that's the gist, and that is what I wanted to tell you guys. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions concerning this, I don't want to go too further, because there might be some Christian fanatics, people that do not see things the way other people see it, or people and they might want to attack all these other things. So I'm just here to explain to you what really happened and what is really going on, so that you don't keep carrying rumors, because it's like rumors and Nigeria is like this best friend. Somebody just bring up something, nobody cares to verify, like Peter Obi, go to court to verify. Nobody cares to verify, everybody just goes along with it, and the story just stands. So I'm trying to make this video because I'm seeing a lot of Twitter posts about it, that Yoruba community is this one in Brazil, people are speaking Yoruba in Brazil. Don't be deceived, that's a lie. People are not speaking Yoruba in Brazil. These people are speaking their Portuguese, and they have some words that they've preserved from the enslavement era, but they don't speak a day Yoruba. But these people are too smart. They found a way to preserve this culture to the extent that when there's not something they can use, they make a replacement. So if they cannot use obi because obi is scarce or it cannot grow in Brazil, they started to make wooden obi to dafa. In fact, this is story for another day. I'll be just telling you guys another day. If you want to hear the story, that one's story for another day. So you guys, thank you guys for watching. I have to run now. I just wanted to do this video so you guys can watch before this week goes to an end. Thank you guys for always watching my videos. You are loved, you are blessed, and ciao.